Hey all, Board Game Rants here, where you'll find everything solo tabletop gaming and more. The enigmatic Pax Pamir 2nd edition. We're going to have a look at what's inside. We're going to talk a lot about what's inside, because I've done some research on this game. Let's get going. Okay, designed by Cole Worley. Same guy did Root. And I passed on this game. You know, I've seen it. I've heard about it for a couple of years now, I feel like. So it must have been the 1st edition first. And then Ricky Royal did a video on the solo version of, I think, the first one, like Pax Pamir, if I'm saying that right. But then I saw that he was working on the official version of the solo variant for this game here. And that's what really got me intrigued. But, you know, I couldn't pull the trigger because it says, can you unify Afghanistan, or will you push an unstable region into chaos? It's just not... There's so much like history and research that was done for this game that I'm not a big history buff, so I was just a little intimidated by it, and I thought, oh, you know, I'm probably not going to enjoy this game because it's, you know, it'd be nice to know what these names mean, who these people are, etc. And oh, there we go. Yeah, so designer of Root and John Company, which I have not played before, but Root I have. And as I kept looking into it and read the manual and watched some reviews and stuff, people kept saying, you know, look, you don't need to be a history buff to enjoy this game. And so I finally figured I'd bite the bullet, and here it is. So let's take a gander in here and work through it. All right, got that cap off there. So this is the rulebook, and quite frankly, it seems pretty well laid out. It seems like the game looks like it's got some area control to it. It's got some card drafting, and then tableau building, and then there's sort of these dominance checks that occur as you go through this card system that has you scoring, and sort of a la, I don't know, Twilight Struggle or something. And you just want to make sure you're positioned to score when that happens. And you've got the British, Russian, and Afghan coalitions that you can totally change loyalties to. So you're not like stuck with Root. You've got a loyalty. You know, most games that are, you know, war related or that are area control related, you are somebody, you're playing somebody that whole game, and your goal is to make them the strongest and try and win. This one, you can bounce back and forth, and you just want to make sure you're aligned with the correct coalition at the right time, which I find to be very, very intriguing. So here's more of the stuff here, and then here we go at the core actions. I guess the core actions essentially is either buying a card from this market or playing a card into your tableau. I mean, that's kind of basic, mostly what you'll be doing. And then those cards, of course, open up all sorts of options, and what's on the board limits your ability to use those cards or play them. And you can only be loyal to one coalition at a time. So if you ever try to mix and match, you could lose everything as you become loyal to one or the other. So more, here's the dominance check. So here's where the scoring occurs. And you got to look out on the map and see how things are going there. It's a very low scoring game. Like you win immediately if you're ahead by 4 points. So, you know, and you only score, like, you know, the most scores 5, and the next most scores 3, or 3 and 1, depending on other conditions. So, and then here's playing with Wakan. So here's the solo, the automated opponent. And you can actually play with this automated opponent with 2 other players. But now it's not a cooperative game, and this doesn't make it cooperative. You just kind of throw that in to spice up a 2-player game, I guess. Or you can just play it, you know, could be faced by 1 or 2 human players. So, but it's not a cooperative variant, and only 1 player or Wakan can win the game. Excuse me. So yeah, there's a lot of instruction, not a lot of instruction, but it's a deck of cards that's going to run the solo variant. So it's only what, 3 pages long there. Only, I don't know. Some people might think it's a lot, but I read through it, and so reading the great game. So here's some history stuff, but I'm not up and up on that, but I'm hoping this game, I'm still going to be able to get into the mechanics. I think I have about 3 games so far here in 2019 that are going to make basically my top 10 favorites. And it's August now, mid-August, and I'm pretty picky about games, and I know for sure 3 are going to make it. I have not even played this, and I'm going to put it out there. I think this, even though I don't know anything history-wise, the way this looks and the way it plays, I have very high hopes. The fact that yes, it was I don't even know if I mentioned, but it's Richard Wilkins, Ricky Royal, who made this, who designed this variant. Yeah, I already did mention that. But anyway, and he's primarily a solo gamer. So let's take a little more. Let's finally dig in. I've only gotten in the manual, for crying out loud. What do we got here? So we got our boards, and so you're gonna have to pick an alliance. That's what that's there. And then your boards here, it looks like it has some good, just very, it doesn't, this is your player board. It's not terrifically complicated as far as what you can do on your turn. And then up here, we're going to be putting these little cylinders up here. And then based on the cards you have out in your tableau, it gives you privileges of rank. And then it talks about dominance checks, how you score, and basically your turn. And then, so here, we're going to be attaching these onto, these onto that, like that. And then you're going to be picking your allegiance. So, look, you got little, animals. You got lion, bear for Russia, lion, I guess, for British, and eagles for Afghan. So you could even just pretend this is like Root. make it easy on yourself from a from a theme standpoint. It's eagles against the bears against the lions. Oh, it sounds like a football, Well, anyway, heck, this could be Root 2, because oddly enough, there is like area control, just like Root. Well, anyway, okay, so these are the rupees. Here's your coins. I don't get the fancy metal ones because I didn't do the Kickstarter one, but there's some coins. Let's just keep. Everybody gets a dial. So here we go. There's more of the same of that, and more of the same of that. Again, the dial and the that and the that, and that's this is a 5-player game, or up to a 5-player game. I think it says 1 to 5 player somewhere. Anyway, so there's 5 different of the same there. And now here we go. Here is so this is where the market is going to come into play. So we're going to be putting cards on here, and you're going to be available for purchase. And then things are going to kind of slide down. The cost in rupees is up above. And so that's little board there. What we got here? Looks like we got some player aids. Turn structure, how to win, core actions, card-based actions. Very cool. Very nice. And not like microscopic. Need a magnifying glass. Everything's laid out here on nice big sheets of paper. Okay, a couple player aids there to filter around. Now the real goody goodies. We got look at that. Look at this. I don't know. It's an intricate looking interior of the box, and then we got a nice lid on top of this. And then yes, I did hear about this. There is no board. It is a cloth. That is weird. I have not. That is cool. I think that is this is the board, huh? And you put your your pieces on there. Here's your scoring track. Doesn't go very high, all the way up to 23. And here's, so suits. You've got suits in this game that are going to be like, well, depending on what suit is I don't know, dominant or whatever, you'll be able to play certain actions on your cards that match that suit for free. And then the suits also have something like the military has to do with making it more expensive to buy cards. And then purple and blue enhances how many cards you can have in your tableau, and then the other one enhances how many cards you can have it in your hand. Because I think there's a default of 3 in your tableau and 2 cards in your hand, but these would actually not have much to do with that. These would just have to do with what you can take free actions on cards in your tableau if they are this suit. And then here it is. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 territories here you'll be battling over. And okay, let's take a look here. Wow, that is heavy. These are the blocks that, that are going to basically be placed out on this board, and that are going to denote who is dominant out there. And the blocks, if you stand them up, they're armies, and if you lay them down, they are roads. So they have roads between the sections, and then you'll have your armies standing up in the different territories, as well as, I believe, you'll have, so we've got our tokens here. So all these tokens, everybody has these markers here that'll go on their player board. So these markers will be lined up on there, and then you'll use those markers either to, go out here and help you control areas, or you can actually, an interesting part of the game is as you play your cards out and you've got your tableau out here or whatever, you can use these markers also as spies and put them on those cards. And so they kind of serve 2 purposes, these tokens here. And so let's see here. Let's continue on to, okay, here's the little things that'll hold the dials together for these guys here. And what else we got here? So some baggies. Here's the bottom of the box. And then the cards. So here are the cards got a couple hefty stacks here. Are the kind of, you look at them and it just looks like so much. You got to just have to maybe understand the history of these things to really make them pop or be interested in the, safe house, indispensable advisors, and you got these little symbols and stuff. But ultimately it breaks down into, you play the card, you got to make sure that either you control Persia or Cabal, or you have to pay somebody who is dominant out there some money. And a bribe, I think is what they call it, and then you get to do the little actions here on the right side of the card, and then once it's down, it gives you, I think this is a battle action. I'm not positive on that, but and then certain special powers here. But people can put spies on your card. They put a little disc on your card, and it shuts down your ability, and then and then they can assassinate the card, and then you'll see the little symbol on the bottom, the bear. So if your opponent assassinates Claude Wade, then they get to grab the card, flip it over, and that'll add to their influence in that particular, what are the bears? Russia. And so there's kind of cool multi-elements to these cards. Let me bust it open here, and let's just take a little closer look. Okay, and I also took the liberty of getting some of these pieces out on the board because I was just really, I've heard people say that these pieces are top notch, and they are. I mean, this is a weird light kind of feeling like cork material or something. Very intricate, very cool looking. This is just, I've never really seen anything like this, this idea of the cloth there. And then you've got, here's where you're going to keep track of the different suits as they change. They're very heavy. This thing's very heavy. I don't know if it doesn't feel like wood, but I'm sure it is. And these pieces are dang heavy. I mean, these are, it's just a very cool production, this game. And so let's take a look at some of these cards. Oh yeah, and also I put together one of these dials here. And And then I also put some of these markers here, and gosh darn it, what are these called? I'll remember what these are called. Anyway, these things can be used as gifts. You can put them there, and that increases your influence in whatever you're loyal to at the time. But if you ever change loyalties, oh, now I'm going to be British, then you have to get rid of your gifts, and they go back to your board. They don't count as influence anymore. But then you can also, if you start putting cards out, so here are the cards, start putting cards out in your tableau, then you can start using these as spies and put your cylinders out there. Cylinders, that's what they're called, out as spies, and then your opponents are going to have their own, tableaus out there. And then these spies, is you can take a move action that'll move the spies across a tableau, and then eventually you will move it to the next card over in the tableau of your opponent. And that's how you can then affect your opponent's cards and what they can do. You can hold a card hostage by having a spy on it. It'll shut down their actions. And then you've got these guys, which in the middle of this bar says, this guy's this is a patriot. And if you play him in your tableau, you are loyal to the birds and or the eagles or whatever. Whereas these guys, they can be part of your tableau because they're not particularly loyal to any particular faction coalition, but this guy is. So this guy sort of would make you loyal to, if you want to play him anyway, you are loyal to the eagles here. It's the eagles. What is it? The Afghans, by golly. And then British lion and Russian bears. And let's see here. Let's dig into more of these cards. So we've got, looks like this is just a whole stack of these cards are called, what are they called? We've got the cards, 3 types of cards. There's the event cards. So these are all event cards. And then we've got court cards. I lied. These are all court cards. And then you have 16 event cards. And then there's going to be the Wakan cards. There's going to be 24 AI cards and 2 aids in there. So let's see if we can. So lots of court cards. More and more and more and more. And I think these are all court cards there with their, you can see, like, if you play this card, it's going to change the suit to that blue, which is currently on. And then any cards. So like once this was here, then I could take this free action. I could take a free action here that wouldn't count. You only get up to 2 actions, but you can start taking free actions if the suit is lined up with cards in your tableau, and you can take those actions for free. That's a very fun little tidbit mechanism. And then let's see, let's keep going. We've still, it looks like we got more and more court cards. Of course, those are going to be the most. Okay, here we go. There's the dominance checks. So when these cards come out on that board here, when you set up the game, you're going to have, just a random bunch of cards out here, and then if you want to purchase anything, you're going to have to pay the price. And so, like, if it was my turn and I wanted to purchase this dominance check because I knew that I had all the right stuff and I was loyal to the right coalition to score the most points, and I wanted to purchase this dominant check to score, then I'd have to spend 1, 2, 3 rupees, and I'd put them on the cards here. So when people buy those cards later, they're going to get those rupees. That's a very actually common mechanism that you see in this sort of card drafting, purchasing type mechanic. But then that would allow me to. But everything kind of filters in from the right and starts sliding over to the left, and it sort of just cycles like that. But there's two rows here, and so you're going to be able to really see each, things coming down, and whether a card is particularly good for your tableau that you want to spend a bunch of money to get to. But money's a tight thing in this game. So dominance checks. There's only 4 of them. There's only 4 scoring opportunities in the whole game, maybe fewer, because if 2 dominance checks come out at the same time, there's an automatic scoring that occurs, and essentially there'll be one less scoring in the game. Here we go. Then there's these event cards. So these event cards can come out as well. These never go in your tableau. They just get purchased, and then you activate them. But if you purchase them, one thing happens. But if you let them slide all the way over to where they get discarded, then a different thing happens up on the top. So that's a pretty cool little mechanism as well. Okay, here we go. Here is Wakan. So I'm very interested in this. So 24 cards, and then we've got the player A's. So Wakan's gift. So Wakan, I guess, is actually just kind of loyal to everybody, but has a certain loyalty to a particular one. Anyway, I'm not going to go right. I don't really understand all the rules too much, but it seems very well done, in which you'll take all 24 of these cards, and you'll be shuffling them up, and then you'll be flipping over a card on Wakan's turn, and then you'll be going down this column of actions, seeing what actions it can take, and then it's got all sorts of cool little tiebreaker things, like you use the top of the next card in conjunction with this card, which I've seen now with it's very effective, a very cool thing to do. Like with Gaia Project, I've seen where it utilizes 2 cards to create the entire action. Saw it in Wingspan here recently as well. And anyway, so wait, was it Wingspan? I might have that confused, but I think that was Wingspan. Anyway, so here, yeah. So this is pointing to 3, and this is pointing to top left. So, and then it's got little symbols here. So there's all sorts of little cool little tiebreaker stuff here going on that's going to help you take the action for Wakan, for the AI, and then you'll just kind of keep. Each time it takes a turn, just keep doing its thing like that, and then this is going to change as which cards it's pointing, and top left, or looks like these are all top left, probably until I get into the bottom part of there's bottom right, and anyhow, these aren't shuffled, so that's why it's probably coming up in a certain pattern here. But that is how, along with we got the general card priority. It's all listed out here, very cool. And the discard during cleanup priority, and then where you're going to put the gifts. Wakan's going to always have a pragmatic loyalty, but it's kind of loyal to everybody. But anyway, that is a pretty long overview and unboxing of Pax Pamir 2nd edition. I have, and just looking at this, it almost... It's almost, for the simple-minded individual like myself who doesn't know much about all this history, I could darn near play this like it's Root 2. It's the Bears against the Eagles, against the Lions, and they're trying to dominate this forest area. And you're purchasing cards and playing them in your tableau here to increase your loyalties, which you can switch when you may need to be effective in a dominance check. And not unlike Root, which had a bunch of forest dwelling creatures run around trying to dominate an area, but just different mechanisms, and entirely and all these mechanisms, they feel familiar, but I've not seen them put together in this kind of a delicious looking combo. Woo-wee, am I excited to bust into this now. I mean, it doesn't look nearly as intimidating when I break it down into animals and area control here, which, I mean, no disrespect to the amount of research I'm sure that went into this. And in fact, I plan on reading all of these cards and trying to learn the history, because it's not that I don't like history. It's just I'm not a big history buff, but I am pretty fascinated and not nearly as intimidated now as I've gone through these mechanics. Whew! Thanks for hanging in there with me through all of this. This is eye candy, and I can't wait to get into this game playing Wakan solo. Until next time, I appreciate you watching. I am Board Game Rant, and I'm out.